If you think about the LEGO series and the handheld world, it's always been a mixed bag ever since the beginning for this generation. In the past 18 months, I have reviewed almost a dozen different LEGO games, from LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 through 7 and LEGO Batman 2, to the LEGO Movie video game and LEGO Ninjago Shadow of Ronin. I've also seen a lot of different patterns go through. It started on the Vita with console experiences with levels being cut out, then they went to the isometric gameplay that had very basic and simple gameplay that got a lot of criticism, and now with the past couple games, they're back to a console feel, not quite up to the console feel, but very, very close. The newest game in the LEGO series has just released only a few days ago, and I have already gone through the game to be able to get you as much coverage as possible. So here is my official review of the PS Vita and PlayStation TV version of LEGO Jurassic World. The plot of this game is put into 4 different chapters for each of the Jurassic Park movies. It has chapters for Jurassic Park, The Lost World Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park 3, and the newly in theaters Jurassic World. It doesn't show the entire plot of each movie, but more along the lines of showing the most major scenes from each movie, like the Jeep chase in Jurassic Park, and the epic Spinosaurus battle in Jurassic. Much like the previous games in the series, LEGO Jurassic World has action beat-em-up elements, it has platforming elements, and it has puzzle-solving elements. There are 2 big differences between this game and the previous games. The first is the fact that there are a lot more puzzle-solving elements and more emphasis on puzzle-solving than the previous games. While you have games like LEGO Batman 3 and LEGO Ninjago Shadow of Ronin where you're constantly beating up enemies and then getting to a puzzle later on, this is pretty much the opposite. There is the occasional action sequence where you're beating up on enemies, but you're going to be puzzle-solving for probably 75% of each level. Now, when you're going through each level, there are 2 different types you can go through. You have on-foot levels where you're running around, puzzle-solving, platforming, and beating up enemies, and then you have the running and driving levels, where you're in a much more 3D rail environment where you're constantly moving, normally running away from some huge boss monster that's chasing you. To progress through the game, or find different areas to go to the game, you have to go through the hub worlds. Now there are 5 different hub worlds you can go through. First of all, there is the Innovation Center. This has gateways to each of the movie's hub worlds, as well as the in-game shop where you can use your currency to buy new characters and extras, as well as the different game modes like the custom character builder where you can create your own genetically engineered dinosaur, or the dinosaur paddocks where you can go and play as dinosaurs and go through various mini games such as a shooting range and other things depending on what paddock you go into and what kind of dinosaur you are, whether you're a T-Rex, a Triceratops, a Spinosaurus, the list goes on. Now the hub worlds for the movies progress much like the stages do. When you first go into a hub world, you'll be able to explore a little bit, and you'll be able to go into various levels. When you complete a level set, you will unlock a new area where you'll be able to go forward and do some puzzle solving to unlock the next set of levels. Much like you puzzle solve and do tasks in the stages and levels, you'll have to do various objectives in the hub worlds to unlock levels, such as finding a goat for a T-Rex to feast on, or connecting 2 pieces of land with a bridge to find where the next level set is. Now the biggest thing to talk about in the gameplay section is the amount of content that's in the game. With the content, I have good news for you and I have bad news for you. The good news is that all of the levels in the PS Vita version of the game play exactly the same as they do in the PS3 and PS4 version of the game. However, in my research of the console version of the game, I have found out that there are level sections that were taken out of the handheld release. There are some sections and some levels where the PS Vita version only has about half as much content as the console version. Some levels are complete, but some of them are not. Now, all in all, there are 12 chapters of the game across all 4 movies, and each of these contains about 3 stages. Completely, the game has 36 stages to go through, and since these are very short stages, only taking about 47 minutes to complete, the game is only a few hours long. If you speedrun through this game and don't stop to try to unlock everything, this is definitely going to be the shortest LEGO game that you'll play on the PS Vita. Not to say it's bad. Every bit of information and game there is very fun to play through, but it's very short. Now, as far as the presentation are concerned, there are mostly high points here, but one downer point. Visually, the game looks really good. The in-game graphics aren't as flawless as the CG scenes, but there aren't very many jagged edges to be found. Everything is detailed and everything looks really nice. The way the game plays is also good. The load times are nice and short. The longest load time I ever saw in the game was maybe 6 or 7 seconds. The only thing to note is that in a couple levels the frame rate drops a little bit. Noticeably in the T-Rex paddock stage in the Jurassic Park section of the game, I noticed that the frame rate was a little bit less overall through the entire level than it was in the other levels of the game. It's not anywhere near game breaking, but it's very noticeable. LEGO Jurassic World is the newest LEGO game that you can play on the Vita as well as other systems. On the downside, the game had a lot of level sections cut from the handheld release. There are some minor issues with the frame rate in some stages, and the game is only a few hours long. If you don't mind the content that's been cut out of this is still a fun console-like experience for both the handheld LEGO fan and the Jurassic Park fan. PlayStation Vita Reviews rates LEGO Jurassic World a 7 out of 10. If you have any questions or comments about this, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or contact me directly on my site and forum at vitareviews.net and forum.vitareviews.net.